You trust your food storage containers to keep leftovers fresh and safe. But what if they are slowly poisoning you instead? From chemical leaching to mold-trapping lids and cracked seals harboring bacteria, the containers in your kitchen could be silently damaging your health. Today, we are exposing 9 Canadian food storage container brands to avoid at all costs, and the 2 that are actually worth your trust. Coming in at number 9, we have got Rubbermaid. For decades, Rubbermaid promised durability, reliability, and kitchen confidence. Canadian households trusted this brand like an old friend, but that trust has been quietly crumbling. Consumer complaints have surged across Canada about lids that warp after just a few dishwasher cycles, seals that fail to snap shut properly, and containers that develop a cloudy, greasy film that never seems to wash away no matter how hard you scrub. Here is where it gets concerning for seniors. When plastic degrades, when it clouds, warps, or cracks, it begins to break down at the molecular level. That means microplastics. Tiny fragments of plastic so small, you cannot see them with the naked eye. A 2019 study published in Environmental Science and Technology estimated that the average person ingests approximately 5 grams of microplastics per week. That is roughly the weight of a credit card. And for seniors already managing medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or kidney function, introducing foreign particles into your digestive system is the last thing you need. But here is what Rubbermaid will not tell you. Many of their older product lines were manufactured with BPA, bisphenol A, a chemical compound linked to hormonal disruption, cardiovascular strain, and increased blood pressure. While newer lines claim to be BPA-free, the replacement chemicals, BPS and BPF, have been shown in preliminary studies to behave similarly in the body. The label says safe. The science says otherwise. And the quality control? Canadian consumers have reported receiving containers with visible manufacturing defects straight out of the packaging. Hairline cracks along the base, lids that do not match the containers they were sold with, seals that feel flimsy right from the start. When you store last night's soup or tomorrow's lunch in a container like this, you are trusting that seal with your health. And Rubbermaid, despite its legacy, is no longer earning that trust. Picture this. You reheat yesterday's stew in the microwave. The container feels soft, almost pliable, when you pull it out. There is a faint chemical smell, sharp, plasticky, wrong. You eat the stew anyway because you assume the container is safe. But that smell, that is the container breaking down. That is plastic leaching into your food. And you just consumed it. For seniors with compromised immune systems, or those taking daily medications, this is not a minor inconvenience. This is a genuine health risk hiding in plain sight. At number 8, we have Glad. Glad has been a staple in Canadian kitchens for generations. The brand name alone evokes images of neatly stacked leftovers, organized fridges, and worry-free food storage. But behind the cheerful branding lies a troubling reality that most consumers never hear about. Glad containers have faced repeated criticism for their inability to maintain an airtight seal over time. The lids, often made from a thinner, more flexible plastic than the containers themselves, tend to lose their snap after just a few uses. What does this mean for your food? Exposure. Air gets in. Moisture escapes, and bacteria, the invisible enemy, finds a way to thrive. For seniors, bacterial contamination is not something to take lightly. A study from Health Canada found that foodborne illness hospitalizes approximately 11,000 Canadians every year, with adults over 65 accounting for a disproportionate number of severe cases. When your immune system is not as robust as it once was, a simple case of food poisoning can escalate into something far more dangerous. We are talking kidney complications, dangerous dehydration, interactions with blood thinners and heart medications that can turn a bad week into a medical emergency. But wait, Glad promises freshness. Glad promises protection. So why are so many Canadians finding mold growing on food stored in supposedly sealed containers? The answer is simple. The seal was never as tight as they claimed. Here is another issue that rarely gets discussed. Glad containers are marketed as microwave safe, and technically they are, up to a point. But that point is lower than most people realize. When you heat food in a Glad container, especially fatty or acidic foods like tomato sauce or cheese, the heat accelerates chemical migration from the plastic into your meal. You cannot see it, you cannot taste it, but it is happening. And those chemicals? They include phthalates, plasticizers used to make containers flexible, which have been associated with endocrine disruption. For seniors managing diabetes, thyroid conditions, or hormone-sensitive health issues, this is a silent threat sitting in your refrigerator right now. The betrayal here is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is the slow realization that the brand you trusted for decades has been cutting corners while raising prices. Thinner lids, cheaper plastic, seals that fail, and you, the loyal customer, are left holding the consequences. Most people never learn how to fix this, but we will break it down at the end of the video. Stick around. Now at number 7, we have Ziploc containers. Ziploc built its empire on the promise of a perfect seal, that satisfying click when the lid snaps into place, the confidence that your food is locked away from air, moisture, and contamination. But for their rigid container line, that promise has been fracturing, sometimes literally. Canadian consumers have reported a disturbing trend with Ziploc containers. After just a few months of regular use, the plastic becomes brittle. Hairline fractures appear along the edges and corners. The lids, once snug and secure, begin to pop off with minimal pressure. And those cracks, they are not just cosmetic. They are entry points for bacteria, mold spores, and moisture. Everything the container was supposed to keep out. Here is the health connection that matters for anyone over 50. When food is stored in a compromised container, it begins to degrade faster. Oxidation accelerates. Bacterial colonies multiply. And if you are storing cooked proteins, chicken, beef, fish, you are creating the perfect environment for pathogens like Salmonella and Listeria to flourish. Listeria is particularly dangerous for seniors. According to the Public Health Agency of Canada, adults over 65 are 4 times more likely to develop listeriosis than the general population. Symptoms can mimic the flu at first: fatigue, muscle aches, mild fever. But for someone with a weakened immune system or underlying health conditions, it can progress to meningitis, septicemia, or worse. And Ziploc knows their containers degrade. They know the plastic becomes brittle. But instead of engineering a more durable product, they have leaned into disposability. Use it a few times, throw it away, buy more. It is a business model that prioritizes profit over your safety. But here's what really stings. Ziploc containers are not cheap. You pay a premium for the brand name, expecting premium quality. And what do you get? Plastic that cracks, lids that fail, and a false sense of security every time you store your leftovers. Coming in at number 6, we have Great Value from Walmart. Great Value is Walmart's house brand, and for budget-conscious Canadians, it seems like a smart choice. Why pay more for a name brand when you can get the same thing for less? But when it comes to food storage containers, that bargain comes with hidden costs, and your health might be paying the price. Great Value containers are manufactured overseas with minimal oversight. The plastic is thin, alarmingly thin. Hold one up to the light and you can almost see through it. That thinness is not just a durability issue. It is a safety issue. Thinner plastic means faster degradation. Faster degradation means more chemical leaching. And more chemical leaching means more toxins ending up in your food. Canadian consumer reviews paint a grim picture. Lids that crack after a single use. Containers that stain permanently after storing tomato-based foods just once. A chemical smell that lingers even after multiple washes. These are not isolated incidents. These are patterns. For seniors living on fixed incomes, the appeal of Great Value is understandable. Every dollar counts. But consider this. If a container fails after a few uses, you have to replace it. If it contaminates your food, you might end up with a doctor's visit, or worse. The cheapest option is not always the most economical when you factor in the true cost. And here is a question worth asking. Why is it always the cheapest foods and products that seem to cause the most health problems? Coincidence? Or is there something about cutting costs that inevitably cuts corners on safety? Great Value containers are marketed as microwave safe and dishwasher safe. But multiple consumers have reported containers warping in the dishwasher, becoming misshapen and impossible to seal properly afterward. Others have noted that microwaving food in these containers produces a faint but distinct plastic odor, a warning sign that the material is breaking down under heat. For seniors managing chronic conditions, this is not a gamble worth taking. Your kidneys are already working hard to filter out toxins. Your liver is processing medications. Your cardiovascular system is under daily strain. Adding microplastics and chemical leachates to the mix is an unnecessary burden on a body that deserves better care. Number 5 brings us to Snapware. Snapware positions itself as the premium choice for food storage. Glass bases with plastic lids. The promise of durability, clarity, and safety. But that promise has been shattering, sometimes literally, in Canadian kitchens across the country. The glass bases, while marketed as thermal shock resistant, have a troubling history of cracking or even exploding when exposed to temperature changes. Take a Snapware container from the refrigerator and place it in a preheated oven, as the brand suggests you can, and you are rolling the dice. Canadian consumers have reported glass shards in their food, burns from unexpected breakage, and the terrifying experience of a container exploding in the microwave. For seniors, this is not just an inconvenience. Flying glass is a genuine safety hazard. Cuts can become infected quickly, especially for those on blood thinners or immunosuppressant medications. A simple kitchen accident can spiral into a wound that will not heal properly, a hospital visit, or worse. But the glass is only half the problem. The plastic lids, those colorful snap-lock lids that give the brand its name, have their own issues. The silicone seals tend to trap moisture and food particles, creating a breeding ground for mold. And once mold takes hold in those tiny crevices, it is nearly impossible to remove completely. You can scrub, you can sanitize, but the spores remain, waiting to contaminate your next meal. Mold exposure is particularly dangerous for seniors with respiratory conditions, allergies, or weakened immune systems. Symptoms can range from mild, sneezing, congestion, headaches, to severe, including chronic respiratory infections and exacerbation of existing lung conditions. Snapware charges a premium for what they call superior engineering. But when that engineering fails, when glass shatters and lids harbor hidden mold, you are left with a product that is neither safe nor worth the price. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free, and it means you will never miss these exposés. At number 4, we find Systema. Systema is a New Zealand brand that has gained a strong foothold in Canadian retailers like Canadian Tire, Walmart, and Amazon. Their containers come in eye-catching colors with modular designs that promise organization and convenience. But beneath the cheerful exterior lurks a concerning pattern of quality failures. The most common complaint? The clips. Systema containers rely on plastic clips to secure the lids, and those clips have a tendency to snap off with regular use. Once a clip breaks, the seal is compromised. Air gets in, freshness escapes, and your food begins its slow descent into spoilage. But here's the issue that should concern every senior. Systema containers are often marketed toward meal prep, storing multiple days' worth of food at once. If you are preparing lunches or dinners for the week and storing them in containers with unreliable seals, you are essentially gambling with bacterial growth. Food that was safe on Monday could be dangerous by Thursday. Consumer reviews from Canadian shoppers reveal another pattern. The plastic tends to retain odors and stains aggressively. Store garlic-heavy leftovers once, and the smell never fully leaves. Store curry or tomato sauce, and the container turns a permanent shade of orange. These are signs that the plastic is porous, that it is absorbing not just colors and smells, but potentially absorbing and releasing chemicals as well. For seniors monitoring sodium intake or managing kidney health, the last thing you need is uncertainty about what is leaching into your food. Systema promises convenience. What they deliver is compromise. And that fresh seal guarantee. Multiple customers have reported receiving brand new containers with defective clips straight out of the packaging. Quality control is not just inconsistent, it is failing. Number 3 on our list is IKEA's IKEA 365 Plus line. IKEA built its reputation on affordable, functional design. Their IKEA 365 Plus food storage line promises Swedish simplicity, clean lines, stackable shapes, and a mix of glass and plastic options. But for Canadian consumers, the reality has been far messier. The glass containers, while visually appealing, share the same thermal shock vulnerabilities as other glass brands. Reports of cracking in the dishwasher, chipping around the rims, and even shattering in the freezer have surfaced across Canadian consumer forums. And IKEA's response. Their warranty is notoriously difficult to navigate, leaving customers with broken glass and no recourse. The plastic lids are where the real trouble hides. IKEA uses a bamboo fiber composite lid for some models, marketed as an eco-friendly alternative. But Health Canada has raised concerns about bamboo composite materials in food contact applications. When exposed to heat or acidic foods, these composites can release formaldehyde and melamine, both of which are toxic. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogen. Melamine, when ingested regularly, has been linked to kidney damage and urinary tract issues. For seniors already managing kidney function or taking medications that strain the renal system, exposure to these chemicals is a risk you should not be taking. And here is the bitter irony. IKEA markets these lids as sustainable and health-conscious. The eco-friendly label gives consumers a false sense of security. You think you are making a responsible choice for the planet and your health. In reality, you might be exposing yourself to hidden toxins every time you store your lunch. Is it not strange how companies can label something eco-friendly while hiding ingredients that are anything but safe for your body? Do not go yet. The solution comes at the very end, and it could change how you store food forever. At number 2, we have Dollarama containers. Let us address the elephant in the room. Dollarama is not where anyone expects to find premium quality. But for many Canadian seniors, especially those on tight budgets, it is a necessary stop, and that makes what we are about to reveal even more troubling. Dollarama food storage containers are among the cheapest on the market. You can pick up a multi-pack for just a few dollars. But that low price comes with serious questions about material safety and manufacturing standards. Most Dollarama containers are manufactured overseas, with minimal regulatory oversight. The plastics used are often unbranded and lack clear certification for food safety. Health Canada requires food contact materials to meet certain standards, but enforcement is inconsistent, especially for low-cost imports. What slips through the cracks? We do not always know. Consumer complaints tell a troubling story. Containers that arrive with chemical smells so strong they need to be aired out for days before use. Lids that warp in the dishwasher after a single cycle. Plastic that becomes tacky and sticky over time, as if breaking down from within. For seniors, the risks compound. You are storing food that you eat daily. You are reheating leftovers that absorb whatever the container releases. You are trusting your health to a product that costs less than a cup of coffee. A 2022 study from the University of Toronto found microplastic contamination in 93% of tested food storage containers across multiple price points. But the highest concentrations? They came from the cheapest options. The correlation between cost and contamination was undeniable. Here is the truth no one wants to say out loud. When you buy the cheapest container on the shelf, you are not just buying plastic. You are buying risk. And for seniors managing chronic health conditions, that risk is not worth the few dollars saved. Do you think the government protects consumers or the food industry? It is a question worth asking every time you walk down the discount aisle. What is the worst food storage container you have ever owned? Drop it in the comments below. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Lock & Lock. This might surprise you. Lock & Lock has built a reputation as a premium food storage brand. Their 4-hinge locking system promises an airtight, leak-proof seal. Their containers are sold at respected Canadian retailers, like the Bay, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Amazon. They sponsor cooking shows. They win awards. So why are they number 1 on our avoid list? Because the gap between their marketing and the reality has never been wider. Let us start with the plastic. Lock & Lock containers are made from polypropylene, which is generally considered food safe. But polypropylene degrades over time, especially when exposed to heat, sunlight, or acidic foods. And when it degrades, it releases microplastics. Canadian consumers have reported a disturbing pattern with Lock & Lock containers. After several months of regular use, the plastic becomes hazy and discolored. The once clear surface turns milky. The lids lose their tight snap. And that famous 4-hinge seal? It starts to fail, one hinge at a time. But here is what truly earns Lock & Lock the top spot on this list. Their containers are marketed relentlessly to seniors. Health-conscious packaging, claims of BPA-free safety, endorsements from cooking personalities. They know their audience. They know seniors are looking for reliability. And they exploit that trust while delivering a product that degrades faster than it should. A class action lawsuit in the United States alleged that Lock & Lock containers were not as airtight or durable as advertised. While the company settled without admitting wrongdoing, the allegations painted a picture of a brand more interested in marketing than in quality. For seniors storing medications, supplements, or carefully prepared meals for health management, a container that promises airtight protection but delivers leaks and contamination is more than disappointing. It is dangerous. You trusted the lock. You trusted the promise. And Lock & Lock broke both. Think about this for a moment. If major brands can sell containers that leach chemicals and harbor bacteria, yet stay on every store shelf in Canada, who is really being protected here? And here is another thought. Why are seniors, the most vulnerable to foodborne illness and chemical exposure, being targeted with products that fail the fastest and hide the most risks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think. Now for the good news. The first actually safe option is Pyrex Simply Store Glass containers with plastic lids. After everything we have covered, you deserve something you can actually trust. Pyrex has been making glass food storage for over a century. Their Simply Store line uses tempered borosilicate glass, the same type used in laboratory equipment, that resists thermal shock far better than competitors. The glass does not leach. It does not stain. It does not retain odors. You can see exactly what is inside, and you can heat, freeze, and store with confidence. For seniors managing precise diets or portion control, that transparency is invaluable. The plastic lids are BPA-free and designed for storage, not heating. This means you remove the lid before microwaving, a simple habit that eliminates the risk of plastic leaching under heat. The seals remain tight over years of use, not months. Pyrex has a long track record of safety and reliability in Canada. Their products are widely available at Canadian Tire, Walmart, and Amazon, and they stand behind their quality with warranties that actually work. For seniors who want to store food safely without worry, Pyrex Simply Store delivers what others only promise. The second recommendation is Anchor Hocking True Seal Glass Food Storage. Anchor Hocking is another legacy brand with roots going back over a century. Their True Seal line offers thick, durable glass bases with leak-proof plastic lids featuring a silicone gasket that actually works. What sets Anchor Hocking apart is their commitment to American manufacturing. Many of their products are made in the United States under strict quality control, rather than outsourced overseas where standards can slip. The glass is dishwasher safe, microwave safe, oven safe, and freezer safe, a true workhorse for any kitchen. The lids seal firmly without excessive force, and they stay sealed throughout storage. For seniors concerned about chemical exposure, the non-porous glass surface guarantees that nothing leaches into your food. No microplastics, no BPA, no hidden additives, just clean, safe storage. Anchor Hocking. True Seal containers are available across Canada at major retailers and online. They cost a bit more upfront, but they last for years, decades even, making them one of the smartest investments you can make for your kitchen and your health. Your kitchen should be a place of safety, not hidden danger. The containers you trust with your food should earn that trust, not exploit it. Now you know which brands to avoid and which ones actually deliver on their promises. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.